Welcome all to Pub Sports Radio's Capper Contest show, where we discuss our own contest and then we vote on our picks for the Circa Millions alongside my co-host, currently in third place in our Cappers contest,
Wow.
trying to catch Loshak and Drug Monkey RX. How are you, my man?
I'm doing all right. First of all, you know what's something funny, Jimmy? I will be at the Circa next week. I'll be there for the first 2 nights of my stay in Vegas. So shout out to Circa, and hopefully it's not too bad because I've heard mixed reviews.
Well, I will never set foot in that place. As you know, they have no horse book. If they don't respect thoroughbred handicappers, I won't respect them, Jose.
That is fair, and that is a button I know I can press to fire you up. Jim, well, first of all, before we get into the voting and all this good stuff, shout out to the chat as always. How are you? How is Victoria, BC, wherever that is?
I'm very all's good here. We're lucky that our travel didn't get messed with the big snowstorm, so all's well. Family's happy. Seeing my mom, my brother, and my brothers and sister come in the next 48 hours. So
so the big Suze?
Yeah, Suze will be rocking with. Suze gets in tonight.
Brother.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fun. Shout out to her.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. I'm really excited, and it's just great. It's great. And
you mentioned the snowstorm, Jimmy. You'll be happy to know this. I've got one raw dog reporting live tomorrow from the middle of that snowstorm in Belleville, so that'll be good. I hope it is blizzarding, but he's gonna give us a live weather report on tomorrow's show.
I love it. Great to see all the cappers in the chat. Sammy Comer, Jonathan Munoz. Let's call him Monies, man. That works better. Old Johnny Monies in the chat. NJ Striker, the Nuke Worker, Joe Ortner, Paco Healy, Swiss Horton. By the way, the Swiss Horton play of the day 5-0 on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's just started his Twitter account 5-0. Bo Jackson, Gerald Jones, North Ender, Ronnie Crawford. Great to see all of you guys. I'm excited about this show. It helps me out enormously with my own action, first off. And I've only made 2 bets, but I'm very close to making 3 more. I have 3 more sort of in the holster that I'm going to talk out here. But let's start with the NFL Cappers contest here on Pub Sports Radio. If you didn't enter this year, please join us next year. It is very fun. $100 entry into our Cappers contest and $100 into our Survivor pool, which was split by Jonathan Yim and the Rabbit Den Friendly Forge. Rabbit Den won it all. They made the deal for $1,000 each, and then Rabbit Den got the rest of the cash. Here for our Cappers contest standings, why don't we let the man sitting in third place break it down? Talk to us.
Jimmy, you said I'm in third place. I'd like to think of it as second place because we've got 2 guys tied for first place, like we mentioned. And it was a tough week across the board for a lot of our top people in the top few rows. But guess what, Jimmy? I'm calling it now. We had another big show, and I'm going to call it every time someone gets a 5-0 week, I'm calling it a big show. Because fucking big show picks back at the top of the leaderboards there on week 15. He took his Lions, cash it, took the Bengals, Colts, and Jags and Bears, all those cash. A shout out to him. Only 5-0 person. Top set 4.5. Breadman 4.5. A lot of high scores this week. You even see Ian Cameron, the highest person on the leaderboard, only scoring a 3.5, which a bad week from Drug Monkey RX, one of the rare ones this year, I should say, has allowed one Peter Loshak, who got a 3 himself, to climb, make up that 2-game deficit, and is now tied for first place. I could not use that to my advantage. I only pick up a game. I had a 2, and Mr. Drug Monkey RX, I should say, had 1 the point this week with the Bengals. So tough week across the board, and the Survivor contest, like you said, is over. Shout out to Flenny Forager, aka Rabbit Den. But yes, it's going to be a very interesting last couple of weeks. I am particularly worried. I want to stay in the top 7. I'm in touching distance of our friends, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And shout out to Paco Healy and all those guys from Mr. Slam de Closter Bowl as well, because they are always chirping. They're clumbing for the money as well.
Yeah, they're in a nice spot, sitting in 5th place right now. Trans Canada representing Winnipeg, Manitoba in 6th. And there he is, a Raw Dog himself in 7th, barely ahead of Chris Brady. Garcia Gaming right there, and then Big Show right there as well. Billy Friedrich is right there, Gerald Jones, and then Mama Bag still within striking distance. So a lot of excitement on the leaderboard there. And a lot of money up for grabs. So very, very – it makes no sense what Jose said about being in second because people tied.
But what are you guys talking about?
It makes no sense whatsoever.
First place, so there's got to be a second. Here I am.
No, it makes no sense. But very humorous young Jose thinking that he's in second because 2 players are tied for first. But let's get to work here with the Pub Sports Circa contest. And I feel like this is being – not like, let alone what it's done for my own action, which has done a lot. I hope that we're all learning so much from what we've done as a group, because this isn't the public here. This is, and I was trying to explain it to my stepdad yesterday. This is real sports cappers that take it very, very seriously. And yet as a group, we are still making public picks and going up against the Sharps. And 35-38-3, we went 2 wins and 3 losses last week. Lost with the Bills, lost with the Ravens, lost with the Vikings. All those bets were against the Sharps, heavy against the Sharps. We cashed with the Lions and Bengals. As we continue, this is the best we'll ever do, 35-38-3, unless we change our ways. I was thinking one thing we could do, which, I'm sure we'll be voted against, is that we could only give them the option of the sharp side. So we could say, like, for instance, like the Vikings Colts, we could either say Colts or pass. Not even give them the opportunity on the public.
He's just stripping people with the option?
Yeah, because who knows if Jeff will want to put in our, spend $1,500 on getting us an opportunity if we're just going to follow the public action. Because 35-38-3, that's really good if you're going to just disregard where the sharp money is. So what do you think, Jose?
You know what? I am not one for stripping people of their opportunity to vote for one candidate in this election, Jim. Tyrannical Jim. Communist
there's pass. There's pass.
Jimmy Stalin is what we'll call you now. I think it's a very interesting thing, but I'm ready to give everyone the three choices, and we'll look everyone in the face and say, stop going against the Sharps, and maybe we'll have some more success. But this, maybe this might be the last week, and maybe we'll take next week, which we'll talk about next week at the end of the show as well, because different date for that show, and maybe we'll use it in the next following weeks as well. But it's been very, very fun.
Yeah, Preston's right. Bengals have been public for months, and they cash every week. I'm certain, 100% certain, that the Bengals will be on our card this week.
I do like the Bengals this week.
Sure, of course you guys do. Of course you're on a pick that 78% of the public have put their tickets in for the Bengals and only 52% of the cash. And I said that last night. And I was explaining to my stepdad, and I was like, so watch this. Even though this group of cappers are, take it extremely seriously, this is not a bunch of just, recreational jokesters. Still, they'll put the Bengals on our card. And I say it out loud just so that we are consciously aware of it. Just consciously aware of it. That's all I want. I'm in this pool here where I have to do this, make a pick on every spread here.
With your man making the spreads.
Well, no, I mean, no, he does. No, that's for the playoff pool. This is just Yahoo.
Okay, Yahoo. Correct.
So here's this Yahoo. Let me just pull it up here. The Pro Football.
Fucking Yahoo.
So there's so many spots on here where, you make a pick, but I'm certainly not going to bet it. I'm 3rd out of 57. And I'm 119 and 97 against the spread. And every single time where I'm like, well, I'll just follow the Sharps here. Like, I don't even I'll just follow the sharps. And by doing that, I'm, 22 games, 24 games over, no, 22 games, what I'm talking about, 22 games over 500. So it's just something I just wanted us to be consciously aware of. That's all.
I should make like an alarm or something so we just know.
Well, we'll talk a lot more about this, when we tell Jeff that we deserve another chance, that we're not just a bunch of public donkeys. When I have the conversation with Jeff, saying we're not public donkeys, when I say public donkeys 5 or 6 times to him, maybe he'll give us another chance here, and we'll have to do something different. That's all. Because I don't mean to be negative.
Yeah,
Jose can host this motherfucker on his own.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't. That's why you're doing it on vacation right now. Jimmy, how about we talk about our first game? We are officially 12 minutes into the show.
Okay, I apologize. All right, let's get to work. And can we do a 3-minute time limits for this one?
Sure. We've been kind of fluid with the time limits recently. They've gone from 3 to 4 to 5. So, let's do it.
And just quickly, Paco Wheeler says, are you ever going with the public spots that you believe in? My answer is no. 0 times. I've done it 0 times this year. I just let it go. And sure, some of them would cash, but not enough of them to bring in a positive ROI. Every single time I'm against the Charbonnet, I just let it go. I just let it go. All right, let's get to work here. Thank you guys so much for joining us at Pub Sports Radio. Don't forget our promo codes for MyBookie and for Bet Online. All you got to do is type in Pub Sports, and they will match your action, match your buying, and up to $1,000. So it means a lot to us. So don't forget that. Let's get to work. Jose and I are going to go back and forth, but I will open up each game with at least where the line is going and where the cash is. So let's start with Jets, Jacksonville Jaguars. Jets open -1. They're now -2.5. There was a huge move that took place. Well, I mean, part of it took place this morning at 8:30, but it's been taking place basically since yesterday at 1 p.m., a huge move towards the New York Jets. The Jacksonville Jaguars have some implied line value in Sports Insights. 63% of the tickets and 71% of the cash is on Jacksonville. You see 71% of the cash on Jacksonville, and the market moving towards the New York Jets obviously makes me think it's New York Jets or pass. Let's go over to Jose Bouquet for his thoughts on this spot.
Yeah, no, it's one of those games that you're absolutely thinking like, oh, this is Jacksonville. They've got the better quarterback. The defense, well, I would say the defense is playing well, but they gave up 37 points to a Cowboys team, which I think is a little overrated like they usually always are. But I do think this is a Jet spot. I saw this line open at a pick'em at our friends at Bet Online. They had it at a pick'em all yesterday as well. It was pretty wild. And then now you wake up and you see it at 2.5, even with Zach Wilson named at quarterback. It feels like it's one of those things where Trevor Lawrence and those guys have had 2 straight games where they've played well. And by played well, I mean they definitely opened up shitty against the Cowboys, but ended up having a good game, obviously comeback, et cetera, et cetera. But it feels like a Jet spot for me. And I said on, Betting with Bouquet, our show this morning, this is Jets for me. I'm probably going to have them in the Cappers Contest show or in the Cappers Contest. Obviously, that's not a surprise to most people that have watched like me or Drug Monkey RX or someone like that have picked the Jets every week in cash. Maybe it's because we're Jets fans. Who knows? But it's a little disrespectful to Zach Wilson, I guess. I guess the Jaguars defense is that bad that they can make them look good. It's pretty shocking to see. And Jimmy, you've mentioned the wind and the rain is going to be an issue in this game. And another factor that worries me is who the hell is going to run the ball for the Jets? I mean, Bam Knight has been good, but he's been okay, I guess. And, I've got Michael Carter and stuff also worrying me. I'm taking the Jets, but I can easily see why the Jaguars are a public dog that's very trendy. They have ETN to run the football. But I think the Jets defense is just good enough. And I believe Quentin Williams is coming to play today. So Jets for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of all in on the Jags. We cashed on them last week and the over, which means I have to just stay off of this spot. It looks like we're pretty certain that Quinnen Williams will be playing for the Jets. That's very big. Corey Davis is returning from his concussion. That's going to help because Denzel Mims and Jeff Smith have been ruled out already. So there's 4 healthy receivers for the Jets. That's why Corey Davis is a big deal. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, and Braxton Berrios. So with all that being said, I understand in this sort of under a field goal with the Jets defense, the Jets at home, I get it. And maybe when it's all said and done, maybe I take the Jets. Maybe I bet the Jets. The losing to the Lions, watching Zach Wilson throw for 300 plus yards, and as Jose mentioned, the running game not helping. Knowing also that Robinson is out on the offensive line for the Jags, when Walker Little's just being destroyed in the press since he was made the 45th overall pick in 2021. He's taking over for Robinson. It's such a fun game. Connor Mack will be hosting the live bet stream tonight, and it's going to be so much fun. And in saying all that, I get it's Jets or no bet, and I'm leaning towards no bet here. And I'm not voting here as part of this process. So let's see where the vote ended up, my man.
Let us see where the voting ended up. You could tell your stepfather that you were correct. It did get the majority of the votes. Let's see. I was
talking about the Bengals game here.
The Bengals. Well, the Jets. We have taken the Jaguars at 51%. They're 51%. Not probably enough to make our card, but definitely edges out the Jets there. So it does make, admittedly, I will probably be moving on the Jets for sure. Like I said, Capper's contest. It does make me feel kind of shitty that it's not, pick a -1 and we're getting a 1.5, 2.5 though. So we'll see.
Troy, 63% of the tickets and 71% of the cash is on the Jags. So if the market had moved towards the Jags, you could comfortably back the Jags. But the fact is only 29% of the cash thus far has come in on the Jets, and the market has moved towards the Jets. So I really think this is a poor decision by us as a group. And I'm not saying that Jacksonville won't win outright today, but overall, in the long run, when we make these decisions, we'll end up 35, 38-3 and be doing this show just for the benefit of our own personal action because our card is fucking useless. All right, let's move on to Saturday action here. And I'm sorry I'm getting upset, Jose. I can feel it coming up. I can feel it coming up.
Well, I admittedly, I have been editing and putting together some of your clips this year. And you got angry a couple times this year. I'll admit it.
I just want us to succeed, and I want us to be consciously aware of what the hell's going on with why why we're 35, 38-3. All right, let's move on. Buffalo Bills at Chicago Bears, Soldier Field, Chicago, Illinois, 9 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 21 mile per hour wind. Also, Andy gave out the over 39.5 on our show. And let me just move over there. I know that we're not talking about totals, but this is a show to help us succeed with our action. And this total is, it's at 39.5 right now. So nothing there. Point spread wise, though, this opened up with the Bills -8.5, -106, and it's now -107. So nothing, no help there at Pinnacle. We go over to the cash flow in this one. We pull this up. We have implied line value, the highest of any spot other than the Buccaneers, which is already moved. Well, we'll talk about that when we get to that spot. But this is the tied for the second most with the Green Bay Packers is the Chicago Bears. 13,130 tickets on the Bears. Now, 61% of the tickets and 94% of the cash is on the Chicago Bears on a spread, which is a ton of cash for a dog, a public dog, right? And we know what happens there. 54% of the we don't need to talk about the total. So there it is. Bills come off their 5th straight win, 32-29 at home over the Dolphins. And one thing has become clear is their offense can get the job done in the most difficult situations. And with a few seconds left, that Allen is just a gamer. Now, Singletary can't really smash in between the hash marks, but they went 8 for 14 on third down and 4 or 5 in the red zone in driving snow. And it was 4-4 in the red zone. They didn't catch that last touchdown because they were just trying to run the clock out. But defensively, they got gashed for 188 yards on 25 carries. And we know that the Bears are going to be able to run. The big difference is the Bears can't beat you through the air. And that's sort of what the issue against Waddle and Tyreek Hill was that the Bills had to take great care of those dangerous wide receivers, and that opened up Mostert in the run game. This is a fascinating spot with that much money on the Chicago Bears. Love to hear. Hey, Jeff. I'd love to hear your thoughts here. Jose, take it away, my man. Bills, Bears.
What's up, Jeff? Nice to see you as always. Yeah, I love being the face of the public donkeys too, because I'm always like, yeah, I can see it, and then it's always like 70% of the tickets are on this side or whatever it is. I can see why people like the Chicago Bears here. I mean, the Bills' defense has been rickety as of late. No Von Miller, obviously, big factor. Issue is, what are we going to get from Fields? As always, and everyone will talk about the shitty cold weather, but as we've heard from people like Andy, it's wind that will kill the offense and stuff like that. The cold won't be as bad as just just cold and besides the wind. But yeah, you get it. I ultimately, I guess I lean Bears, but this is a pass game for me as well. I think this line's a little high personally, but do I really trust the Bears defense to hold Josh Allen? And does the weather really affect Josh Allen? Dude's from Wyoming. He's built for this kind of stuff. Yeah, just easy pass game for me, honestly.
So Mitch Morse is out for the Bears game that was declared 3 hours ago. So there's the center out for the Bills. I'm very, very interested to see the effect that will cause on them here. But that hurts. Mitch Morse out. Their center will be out. So they're going to release the full injury report this afternoon here for the Bills. But that's a big, big deal. And I'm shocked that this much money is on the Bears, that it's become this public dog. It's all very interesting. I'm looking forward to see where the market moves on it, but I don't want to get involved. What's your quick take, Jose? I know we got to stop and move on. But what's your quick take on the total here at 39.5?
Yeah, I'd probably go over. I do feel everyone. I mean, I would like to see at least visually see Chicago at the time of game, see what kind of weather we're actually rocking with. But yeah, I lean over. I definitely lean over.
All right, let's see if this makes our card. I'm very interested.
Let us see here. And as I've got something in my eyes, 40%. 40% pass. So we are passing. For sure.
I stayed off that. Thank you guys so much for voting here. Dana Delp liking the over as well. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. Jose will take the reins here. New Orleans Saints at Cleveland Browns. We're at First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. It's going to be snowy and windy. We watched this total completely drop off the face of the earth, the lowest total that we've had all season long, and I just want to see what that's gone to now. Sitting at 32, slightly juiced to the over. From a spread situation, this opened up with the Browns as I pick them at -3, and now they're -2.5 on the board. Clearly, the Saints at +3 was a must bet, because this Saints at +3, the very first action was towards the Browns, and we got +104. +104, which is wild. And since then, it's a 24-cent move to the Saints at that number at Pinnacle. So let's take a look at the cash flow here for Saints. And we have just huge sharp action on the Saints. For just 41% of the tickets, so the public making moves on Cleveland, but 81% of the cash. So clear sharp action here on the Saints. Market concern moving it to 2.5. Take it away for us, Jose. Floor is yours.
You have to answer this question for me, Jim. It feels like the last 2-3 weeks it's been sharps on the Saints. Last two at least.
Yeah, and it cost me. I came so close to taking first half in full game last week, but Birdie had me concerned with his really deep study on why the Falcons we're live at that number. But yeah, it feels that way. Well, but they've also been on the Browns of late.
Yeah.
So
I just remembered, I just had a flashback. I took the Saints last week in Capper's contest. And of course, in the Capper's contest, 3.5. So I lost. So I just remembered that. Yeah. I like the Saints again, honestly. Why are we going to decide that Deshaun Watson's suddenly going to be a good quarterback now? I can't get there with Deshaun Watson still. He's shown nothing of improvement. Nick Chubb off of the injury report. I guess that's a good thing, but it's just been nothing. Have we heard Kareem Hunt's name in ages now? I feel like he's just fallen off the face of the earth. So as gross as it sounds, give me the Saints. I like that the Sharps are on it. It makes me feel better that the line obviously has gone their way as well. So I like the Saints here. And truthfully, I guess I'm putting my money on Taysom Hill because I think we're going to see a lot of Taysom Hill here, especially if the weather is shitty.
I think it's crucial to get the 3, and fortunately that will cost you money. So it's absolutely crucial to get the 3, and it's about between minus 118 and minus 120 to get the 3. But at 2.5, I will stay off. Remember, the Sharps were all over the Browns last week against the Ravens, and I like the Ravens, so that got me off of a losing bet there. It's tough. If they were offering me, obviously they want. It's such a crucial number, the 3, and I don't want to pay the extra money for the 3. But I'll think about it. At this point, I'll think about paying the money for the 3. With this, I'm very curious to see what you guys have voted on. So I'm gonna stay off this. I do think Kamara woke up finally. They need him so badly. Also, in the driving snow of all these quarterbacks, who would I want under center? It's Taysom Hill. So I do think that gives the Saints an advantage. Of course, I don't know how much he'll be used. So, it's definitely Saints or no bet for me, and I'm curious to see what you guys have voted on. Damon Santori says Browns in bad weather. I get that, but there's some pieces to the Saints team that are built for bad weather. And that front 7, with Davenport and Jordan, I think is part of that. Preston says Sharps have been on the Saints every week. Saints are a bad team. You're right. There've been a ton of looks on the Saints. Let's see what the final vote is.
Yeah, let's see. I'm going to be interested to see how much Taysom Hill we will get in this game as well. Wow, big swing. Pass was taking the lead there for a while, but 43% on the Cleveland minus 2.5 there. So probably not making our card there, but interesting to note the Saints at 20% there.
No surprise that we're going up against the Sharps. Okay, that was your spot. Here's mine. Next up, Houston Texans at Tennessee Titans. So this is a spot here where I really want the Titans. I may have missed my chance at minus 3 at minus 110. I'm waiting to see if it'll come back to it. It may not. I may need to take this minus 3 at minus 120. I think I'm going to roll the dice and wait and continue waiting. But this is actually probably the perfect situation, I think, for the Titans here with this number, getting it dropping it down to 3 with Malik Willis at quarterback, a healthy Malik Willis. He's also, it seems like he's matured since that run earlier in the year where he did not look good, and then he watched again. I kind of like it when you can question whether he has the skill in the pocket to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Totally valid, but he did not look good. Then he got to watch a little bit longer. And he also got to watch Tannehill look so much better than him immediately. Whether or not he has the skills to handle that, I don't know. But I love this situation here, and there's opposite kind of world we can talk about. But here with the Texans, they looked so good against both the Cowboys and the Chiefs. So good against them. 2 teams that couldn't care less about playing them. Now they go up against a division rival who needs this win so badly. And you take them from the indoors to 18 Fahrenheit in Nashville. I think Derrick Henry is a monster in this game. I think Malik Willis's legs are extremely important. And I want the Titans. And the fact that they're giving us a 3.5 makes me very angry that I can't use it in the contest. I want the 3, but I get it. I think the Titans are the play here. And I didn't give I did give the cash wise, which is kind of confusing here. We have 12,420 tickets in. It's 54% of tickets, 53% of cash on the Titans. I wonder if you guys think that if I wait, maybe the VIG will come down a little bit. Troy Torrance also on the Titans -3. But I certainly think this is the opposite of the Dolphins. Dolphins look so bad on the road in fine situations. Then they get in the cold on week 3 in a completely different situation. Maybe it's because of the Bills' weak defense, but I love the Titans here. I'm just trying to figure out if I can get a regular VIG on the 3. Take it away, Jose.
Yeah, I'm worried, and I'm worried for selfish reasons. Fantasy playoff season, obviously, and I'm going against King Henry, and King Henry is notorious for dominating these Houston Texans. You can go look up his numbers against the Texans, just rips them up. And this just seems kind of like the spot where Mike Vrabel's like, all right, let's just not get cute. My quarterback sucks. I think he's bad. I think Malik Willis is not an NFL quarterback. He's got happy feet in the pocket, always wants to get out of there. So I'm glad that the Jets aren't that bad at least. But I just think we're gonna see a lot of King Henry here. And like Birdie's saying, I think it'll end like a 4.5. I think it'll go up. So I like the Texans here, the Titans. Texans. My one just selfish hope is that the Texans realize that they get dominated by King Henry every time they see him, and they try to force Malik Willis to throw the football, which would end up in good things for them. But do they really want to win this game? I don't know. And the Titans, like a new worker said in the chat, if the Titans lose here, their season is cooked. So they need them up. It's a must win here, and especially if the Jaguars beat the Jets.
I guess I'm gonna have to bet this at -120 as soon as the show's over. I guess it's my only option. I wonder if I could wait. I'm with Birdie. I love this spot. Having extra confidence in this spot does not equate to a higher ROI. And you've heard from Peter Loshak, who says his B plays have a higher ROI than his A plays. So, but I really, really like this spot. And I disagree on saying Malik Willis isn't an NFL quarterback at this point. I don't think, if we talked about Justin Fields after 2 or 3 weeks of the year, we could have said the same thing about him, and people did. So, I want to see more, and I'm going to be on the Titans -3 and -120. I guess I'll bet that, as soon as the show ends.
Shout out to Kenny V as well, mentioning that Titans first half -1. All right, let's end the poll and let's move on. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got officially now, I can go ahead and lock this one in the Tennessee Titans on our card at 75%.
Wow, it scares me that we have to deal with a 3.5. I really thought this might. I just think we're right. That's the problem. I don't know if we'll. I hope we cover the 3.5, but I think that the Titans are the play. I'm gonna bet it as soon as the show is over. All right, let's move on to the next one here, and we will let Jose lead the way, because I don't even know if I wanted in the Cappers contest at 3.5. Really, I really wanted 3, but let's let Jose lead the way here. Seattle Seahawks, Kansas City Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. 9 Fahrenheit, mostly sunny, 9 miles per hour. Andy moved on the Seahawks at +10 at -113. I don't know what we're going to get from the Seahawks here on out. I don't. And I know the Chiefs have been really interesting the way they put up, 450 to 500 yards every game and squeak out victories and don't cover games. But still, in this freezing temperature, I just don't know what we're going to get. The +10 was heavily juiced yesterday morning, and it's come all the way back. Now the Chiefs -10 is juiced. So, and we had, I thought, quite a bit of money coming in on the Chiefs, which surprised me. But that's gone. So 31% of the tickets are on the Chiefs and 37% of the cash. So some bigger bets come in on the Chiefs. And I think this is probably a pretty easy stay off. I know we have extra rest and prep for the Seahawks, but they put up 277 yards against the Niners, 4 of 13 on third down. And I know the Niners are a much, much better defensive team, but we need to know about Al Woods. Let me see if I can get the latest information on Al Woods. And the Chiefs haven't been looking good. So now they come home and they're more than capable of taking care of business here. What do you think, Jose?
Thinking about cold cuts right now every time you talk about Al Woods. It is really just a classic NFLism right now, especially with Mahomes. Chiefs get a big number, but they don't cover this big number. Shout out to Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day on Seattle. Seattle.
Oh, wow.
That's a big one right there. Shout out to Ronnie Crawford there. But I'm not going to have it on my card most likely. It always scares me to bet against Patrick Mahomes, Kenneth Walker on the injury report with an ankle. I kind of expect him to play. This, NFL always has people on and off injury reports and such. So I expect him to play. It's just I don't trust Geno Smith at the end of the day anymore. Think his magic is over. And it's just one of those things that's just kind of running out of gas. They're just, like I said last week, it's kind of like the Giants and the Seahawks are just running out of gas, and they're kind of, fade material. Obviously, the Commanders pull the Giants, I should say, pull that game out of their ass and beat the Commanders. But, I mean, there's obviously a little bit of chicanery going on as always. But ultimately, I guess I lean towards the Seahawks, but this is another pass game for me. I never like betting against Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day.
I love it. And I wish I did it last week because Dennis Garcia was so adamant that the Texans were just a simple, easy bet at that number. But watching that game's crazy. Chiefs had 502 total yards, while the Texans had 219. So
it feels like they just get too cute in the red zone, huh? Just one of those things. They don't have like a big body that's not Travis Kelce. They just throw 3 guys on Travis Kelce, and then they're like, all right, now what do we do?
Yeah, it's well put. And I cashed on the under in that Rams-Chiefs game, and the Chiefs went 1-6 in the red zone.
Well, that's geez.
Yeah. So this is for sure a stay off spot for me. But I'm very interested to see the vote. So let's see what went down.
Yeah, and shout out to Birdie, by the way, mentioning that 10-3 if you're betting against the Chiefs every week. So
wow,
just a mental thing betting against Mahomes, and I fully admit that. All right, poll is up. Let us see. 40% right now on the Seattle Seahawks.
Interesting.
40%. So
interesting. If this stays with Seattle like a big public dog, I think the Chiefs might end up on my card. At this point, I feel like that there's a bias with what we've seen lately from the Chiefs, and now they come home. It was 3 straight road games, right? So now they come home. They've piqued my interest. Definitely. So I might end up on the Chiefs here. Chiefs. Okay. All right. I think that was supposed to be your opening, and I talked for too long. So let's let you handle this.
It's okay. It's okay. People, you're on vacation. People hear me talk all the time. We want to hear your lovely, luscious pipes. Jimmy.
Well, in this game, I screwed up. Giants, Vikings. I wanted the over. Oh God, they're not letting me.
Jeez, well, on the face of it, again, I don't hate the over here. But you know what's funny about this? I mentioned that the Giants kind of got lucky or whatever against the Commanders. This is the team that, and Daboll kind of said this in the halftime. I believe he said this. He said they kind of needed things to kind of fall their way to get a win. And this is the team that needs things to go and fall their way against the team that has had everything fall their way all year this year. So I don't know.
You got to be good to be lucky. And the Vikings have a really good offense. And so I know that their defense is questionable. What I'm saying is I got the over 48.5. I don't know how. I'm like the only person who ended up betting it. Everybody else has 48s, getting 48s, and somehow I got a 48.5. Right now it's back at 48. I don't know how I did that exactly, but very irritating. Let's talk about the side here in this one. And I'm excited about watching this game. The Vikings, for me, have become must-watch TV. The Vikings open up at -3. That was juiced at -114 at Pinnacle. They're now -4. That got juiced up to -116. It's and -119. This was -119 last night. It's back to -111. So I'm very interested to see where the sharp money is. So let's pull this up right now. Here we go. 50-50 on the tickets. That's wild. And 57% of the cash on the Giants. So that's I do not trust either of these football teams, but Brian Daboll is an absolutely spectacular coach, and the Vikings know that when push comes to shove in a difficult situation, that they can win the football game. They're dangerous. They're very dangerous football.
Yeah, they've got the comeback kid, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, this is wildly fascinating. I thought Kayvon Thibodeau was spectacular in that last game, and man, do they have a gamer on their hands in New York. And this defense was really good. Look, I don't think Heineke is a good quarterback. He's a good leader, but he's not good. Doesn't have the skills to be a starting quarterback. But this defense held the Commanders to 1 for 10 on third down and 1 for 3 in red zone. This game is going to be so much fun. I just hope it soars over, and then I'm thankful that I don't have to take a side in this one, because if this was to stick within the 3, it wouldn't surprise me. Are you voting on this, Jose?
I'm not, but I'll tell you right now, I like the Vikings. I'll be honest. I don't know if it was that comeback or what, but people are starting to buy in a little bit. And shout out to Kayvon Thibodeau. He did have a good game. He looks a lot like Osi Umenyiora for those Giants fans out there. That's what he looks like to me, and I know that'll be a sight or something to delight Giants fans out there. But I do like Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings here. It's pretty weird to say that after not believing in them for so long. I'm just like, but ultimately, like I said, this team kind of needs things to fall their way offensively to score. And defense is good and all, but ultimately I kind of believe in Kirk Cousins and Justin, aka Jordan Jefferson. I call him Jordan Jefferson every fucking time I talk about him, but his name is Justin. But yeah, I believe in those guys, and KJ Osborne is suddenly their number 2 receiver and pushed down Adam Thielen to 3. Adam Thielen is kind of exactly what the Chiefs need when they're thinking like red zone. They just need like a possession receiver to get dirty in there and all that stuff. Perfect for the Vikings. He's been scoring touchdowns for the Vikings for years now. I like the Vikings here, and I think they could win this game by 7, honestly.
I can't wait to watch it. I'm thankful to not need a side. It looks like I'll have enough action. I've only made 2 bets thus far, which is the least I've ever made so far this year at this point. But weather issues everywhere except for here. Let's see the final vote.
The voting is up 40% on the New York Giants.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really
interesting to see what makes our card. A lot of 40%. Maybe a 51% Jacksonville Jaguar will make our card. We'll see.
So, I guaranteed to my stepdad that this Bengals game, the Bengals would be on our card. And I'm not saying it's the wrong move. I was so curious, when this was at 3. It's one of those spots where you're like, how could you possibly put the line at 3? And there's no chance I'm going to take the Patriots. There was no chance I was going to be on the Bucs last week. But as you guys know, I'm just not going to go up against sharp action. The Bengals were at a pick'em at 3 yesterday at 4:43 p.m. There's been a 6-cent move towards them. There was an immediate move on the Bengals -3 at -106. The Pinnacle then put up the Patriots a +3 at slightly plus money, and it got hammered. So then it went right back to almost no vig on the Bengals. Right now they're at -112. We'll take a look at the cash flow, and we know we don't even need to guess this. 78% of tickets are on the Bengals. I expect it to be more than that by the time kickoff happens. Just 52% of the cash. Got to have huge balls to bet against Joe Burrow and the way these Bengals look right now. There's still 99% of cash on the under, and I would already be on this under if it didn't go from 40 to 41.5. It's still at 41.5. How could it have gone from 40 to – because the first move was towards the under. This opened up at 40 and lasted there for 2 minutes till it went to 39.5. Imagine those guys who think, like I do, that this game is going to go under, and then all of a sudden it goes up to 41.5. They must feel, just like ass clowns. 28 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 14 miles per hour. Why don't you take it away here, and then I'll jump in after Jose.
Yeah, I mean, here's the public donkey right here. I like the Bengals here. It's funny that the Patriots had their butt fumble I hope everyone forgets about the butt fumble and just remembers that Jacoby Myers threw a 40-yard pass backwards to a white guy, as Jimmy said. That was a crazy move. And again, they had their version of the butt fumble. But yeah, here's the thing. We all know what the fuck Bill Belichick's about. Like, he's the best coach of all time, arguably. He obviously didn't okay that last play. So I think this week was probably like their like toughest, best week of practice, etc. On like the defensive side of the football, at least, because he's a defensive guy. When you've got a fucking slapdick like Patricia trying to coach your offense, who knows what kind of results you're going to get there. But it feels like this is like the kitchen sink game for the Patriots here. Like they will come out all kinds of angry, all kinds of prepared to win this game, and all that. But at the end of the day, I don't want to bet against ISO Joe. I think he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league, at least top 3. We all know that. I think Jamar Chase, if not one, he's the second best receiver in the league. And the best part about this for the Bengals is they still have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd out there because the Patriots, we all know this, Bill Belichick's number one thing that he does well as a coach is he makes you play how you don't want to play. So he's going to take away Jamar Chase in some form or fashion, and then he's going to have to make Burrow throw to Boyd, Higgins, give the ball to Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon, who punched a girl in the face at college at Oklahoma. Let's not forget that. Punched a girl in the face, and then got a red shirt. They didn't suspend him. Oklahoma, terrible university. But let's not forget that. Ultimately, I'm passing on this game as well. But this feels like this is like Bill Belichick's like magnum opus this week.
Well, I can, I couldn't get this game out of my head yesterday. We took the kids to Butchart Gardens.
Yeah,
this like I don't know. I've never been there before, but I went there and I couldn't stop thinking about this game. I was just like I can push the public donkey down as low as possible, but I still hear a faint hee-haw. I still do. I'm still like, how do you not take the Bengals 3 points against the Patriots? How do you not do it? I'm still like just forcing it down. I keep hearing that hee-haw get louder, and I'm forcing it down. I watched it go from -3 to -120 at Bet365, which is what I was expecting. And then it's back at -115, and I just hear the hee-haw again. It's hard, man. This shit is hard. It's hard to succeed against the NFL where we know the books make all their money. But if you like, they're on social media, these guys saying, how fake the NFL is, how it's all scripted, how they'll never bet it again, And then we look, I'm up over 20 units, and I don't reply to these because they're just recreational fucking clowns. But this is very difficult, and I'm so fascinated. And certainly, I expect the Bengals to win. This is the most fascinating game on the card for the books to give us the Bengals at -3. Ooh-wee.
So we're confirmed. We're not saying that Monday, was it Monday night, the Giants Commanders game, that was not scripted, and those calls were not against the Commanders because Dan Snyder is a piece of shit person. That is what we're saying officially.
You know what? The pass interference, as you saw at the end of that show, I ended up down $600 on that game. That pass interference penalty and the one that didn't really make me that angry because they shouldn't have been there in the first place. They shouldn't have been in that situation. It was all their fault to be in that situation. It's so yeah. Some calls
and the Terry McLaurin lining up on the line.
The motion is what caused that penalty. But
I just wanted to make sure and double check that this game was not scripted. I just wanted to make sure and double check. No, it's a tough game to bet on right here. Bengals.
You watched me lose $600 on that fucking game, man. I mean, what do you want me to say? It shouldn't have been in that. They shouldn't have had to be in that situation, anyways.
Yeah. Well, Riverboat Ron back again in your life, and we'll talk about Riverboat Ron here soon. Voting is up. We've had 6 minutes on this game, which is very funny. 52% on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I guaranteed. I made the guarantee to my stepdad, and even saying it over and over again, I knew some people would press pass just to see if they could, so I could be wrong, but no chance.
Well, we'll see if that is on our card right now. Officially, if the voting ended right now, hashtag stop the vote, it would be on our card. So,
All right, let's move on to Detroit Lions, Carolina Panthers here. This game is also wildly fascinating. Let's start with the line history here. We have these Lions open up as 3-point road dogs. They're now 2.5. The move towards 2.5 happened when it happened about, I guess, happened on Monday, but on Monday morning you could have got the 3. I guess it's always sort of been. It's been in the works since the opening. Let's take a look at the cash flow, the move from 3 to 2.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow here in this one. We have implied line value on Carolina, but with 15,056 tickets in, 71% of the tickets and 78% of the cash are on the Detroit Lions. That's a lot of money for it to move off of 3 to 2.5. The Lions have won 6 of 7. Everybody believes in them here, and when we question whether or not they could go on the road and keep against a really good defense, they did it. It wasn't beautiful, but they did it. It was a big win at the Jets last week. And the Panthers are coming off a disappointing loss where Tomlin looked better than I've ever seen him look as a coach in my life. Like, he just looked like an absolute genius. I find this game so difficult, and I'd love to hear your take on it, Jose, because this is as tough as capping gets. I think this one here.
Yeah, I like both teams too, and Sam Darnold got me in the bottom mouth, as they say, last week, and I really wanted to take him again this week, but unfortunately, they're playing my other favorite team, the Man Campbell Lions, and I'll probably be on the Lions at 2.5. I think they can win this game by 3. What's the winning streak up to now? 6 games in a row? 7 games in a row?
The Lions have won 6 of 7.
Yeah, 6 of 7. There we go. It's crazy now to think about, but it's funny to see how Dan Campbell always pulls these games out of their ass. And the defense has just looked better as of late. Obviously, they were playing slapdick Zach Wilson last weekend, and they were playing well against him. But Sam Darnold, I'm going to kill myself for saying this, but Zach Wilson, I guess, is better than Sam Darnold. And I think the Jets offense as a whole is better than the Panthers. I think they can go to Carolina and win this game. Totally that. And coaching, by the way, I think Steve Wilkes not a better coach than Bob Saleh. So I just think they win this game.
So does the public.
Yeah. The public loves the Lions. I mean,
yeah, we know that. That. And look, I guess the only thing that I really care about is that you're starting to use bottom mouth in your vocabulary. That means a ton to me.
Helga looks at me funny when I say it.
I like it. Well, you have a bottom mouth and then you have a food pussy. So as soon as they both are used in the lexicon of your vocabulary, I would be very pleased. Very pleased.
Yeah, people forget about the food pussy.
It breaks my heart that it's forgotten, but I will keep at it. I'll keep doing the Lord's work.
Thank God. I'm glad you're in your West Coast pilgrimage now. This is like your, I forget what they're called when the Mormons on biking around telling people about Mormon Jesus, but that's what you're doing about the food pussy. So I'm glad that you're doing so. And speaking of food pussies, let's end this poll and see where we're leaning towards. And guess what? Very nice number. The 69% Detroit Lions are on our card. Man Campbell.
All right. Let's move on to Falcons Ravens. I'll just set the lineup and then you roll and I'll jump in after for this one. We have these Falcons. Oh, of course, Penny not dropping it, waiting for Lamar Jackson to be official. But there was a thought that Lamar Jackson was official yesterday, and this line moved up to 8. Then it went back to 6.5. So buyback early on the Falcons. And cash-wise here, we have 40% of the tickets, 44% of the cash on the Baltimore Ravens. Take it away, Jose, and then I'll close it up.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder. I mean, not impressive. Not impressive at all. He should thank his lucky stars. He has a good running back there. Shout out to the kid from BYU, playing one of the best running backs.
Lamar Jackson is out, confirmed an hour ago.
Oh, officially out.
Officially out.
Okay. Well, and a 6.5 still, huh? Man, Falcons might be that bad, huh? That's pretty crazy. I mean, yeah, I don't think Desmond Ridder is a good quarterback. I mean, I need to see it here. I obviously have a quick guillotine for quarterbacks. Desmond Ridder, also not an NFL quarterback in my world right now. Malik Willis, cut. Desmond Ridder, cut. Zach Wilson, cut. That's how it goes in the Bouquet household. And I don't love the 6.5. I don't think that the Ravens are good enough to win by that large of a margin, but I'll say this: J.K. Dobbins, Gus Bus, that shit matters. And Falcons defense, obviously, Swiss cheese. Think that J.K. and Gus Bus, it could be one of those cases where both of those dudes rush for over 50, 100 yards, get a touchdown each way, and the Ravens end up winning. Honestly, this is not obviously Capper's contest related, but I would rather bet like defensive or special teams touchdown than bet the Ravens 6.5, something like that. So a pass game ultimately for me, maybe an over 37 because, maybe the Falcons contribute some scoring late in game, but yeah, give me if I had to pick a side, I guess I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah, I need to really dive deep into this one. I mean, you take Calais Campbell and Marcus Peters off of the field, and you're still getting 6.5. I'm pretty certain this won't end up at 6.5. Could it possibly end up at 6.5? Let's see. I just want to see what Bet365 has on this one right now. They've got the Ravens 6.5. I mean, we just watched what Tyler Huntley can do against the Browns on the road. Now it's going to be easier at home, but he put up 3 points. I'm shocked that this is at 6.5, really, but it's certainly going to need more time. I'm very interested to hear what the chat thinks and I imagine Atlanta is going to be heavily picked here, but I think that I might be rushing into that idea. Imagine the people who are sitting on 7.5s and 8s with Atlanta. They must be deciding what they're going to spend that money on.
Yeah, they're throwing flowers.
Wow.
Looks like in the Cappers contest.
But then when it sticks at 6.5, I'm going to be so interested to see what happens in the market with the cash and everything on this. But sitting at 6.5, you'd think that would take a ton of Falcons money. I find this is as riveting as these things I find so interesting. Yeah, I'm going to study this game hard, but I expect this to go down to 6 pretty soon today, and I expect people to start thinking about people with the bias of what Tyler Huntley did yesterday. The problem is we don't have any kind of a vividness of Tyler Huntley really succeeding or putting points up on the board. I mean, they went on that big losing streak last year, and they kept going for the 2-point converts, and they kept getting hurt, and he wasn't bad, but I mean, I'll have to go over more Tyler Huntley at home. What are his numbers at home? And what are our expectations of Desmond Ridder in the cold? I'd love this. Let's see what the vote has decided.
Yeah, let's see indeed. This game, easy pass game for me at the end of the day. But the public has decided 46% on Atlanta Falcons. There, the Falcons getting 46% of the vote.
Brady's saying I'll keep betting the Falcons, and when people start to think Ridder is a QB, I will start fading them. And Spenny says Falcons. Yeah, it just feels like too many points. I mean, how?
It does indeed feel like too many points, but I don't trust Desmond Ridder at all.
I can't wait to watch this one. All right, let's move on to afternoon action. I'll set the table here for Commanders at 49ers. Look, I'm interested in the Commanders. I think they're a really good football team. I don't trust Dreamboat Ron, and I don't trust Taylor Heineke. That's a huge problem when you don't trust the coach and the quarterback. But God, do they have weapons, and I like their defense, and I like the football team. Now, going into San Francisco is no easy task. This is a team that believes in themselves enormously right now. They've won 7 straight. And as we talked about on Gridiron Gamblers, only Brock Purdy and Aaron Rodgers since 1950 have a passer rating of at least 115 in each of their first 2 starts. I have the futures on the Niners and the Chargers from the beginning of the year, and the Niners futures look like I got nice numbers on them. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have it opening up at 7 at minus 106. It got to 7.5. It was 7.5 on Tuesday night. I never got a 7.5 available. I probably would have bet it if I did, but sitting at 7 right now. Take a look at the cash flow in this. I want the Commanders here. I think it's such an angry group. Now, I know they're on a short week and they're traveling across the continent. Maybe that's enough just to keep me off.
Chase Young officially in, by the way.
Wow. 36% of the tickets are on the Washington Commanders and 81% of the cash.
Jesus.
I guess I should – maybe I should just bet this.
Left hand up, huh?
Yeah. I'm very close to adding the Commanders and going up against my boys. What do you think here?
Have you told the children about Left Hand Up yet? You like you've been on the Commanders a lot, you know. That song should just be playing through your speakers wherever you go. Song's a banger. And they had those guys for the halftime show too, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. Left Hand Up. Yeah, I think we'll start here. I'm all in on the Niners. I'm bang Niner gang. Niners are my NFC team now for the rest of the year. One, because I selfishly again have Christian McCaffrey in a fantasy league, and him not getting Pro Bowl votes. Music to my fucking ears. Let that man run angry. I want an angry Christian McCaffrey. I think that will motivate not McVay. I already forget what the hell whatever the guy's name, the 49ers coach who already forget me, the kid who's obviously a coach, Shanahan. Thank you. But he obviously will get McCaffrey some touches. I think he'll get 2 touchdowns that game, just a little statement game for them. But I ultimately don't trust the commies enough to cover the 7. I lean 49ers, but that 81% money on the commies does scare me a little bit. But I just, the song's too catchy, Jimmy. Every time I think about the Manders, I just want to put my left hand up and I want to put my cash on them. But I don't think I'm going to do it today.
I think Birdie has probably a sharp take. Says he likes Washington as well, but if it does not go back to 7.5, he's not going to touch it. Says 6 is the key. So with that much money, this line is stagnant, not touching it. So I think we want to see this. I would like to see the Commanders go to plus 6.5, and then Birdie's saying I'll pay for the minus 120 on the plus 7. I think that all makes sense. I'd like to see this line go to 6.5. The problem is could it be because Chase Young is going to be out there, and how many snaps? I don't think there's a chance that he plays in over 50% of the snaps. Not to say that he couldn't be an important piece of the puzzle here. This was my first vote of the day. I voted on the Commanders here. Let's see. Pull it up. Let's see what it is.
Left hand up. Let's see. And by the way, no mentions of Brock Purdy in that whole discussion. That's how far he's come along to being a good quarterback. 50% on the Manders. 50%. 40%, by the way, on the Niners as well there. So if you are curious at home, going to be a good game. Going to be a good game, but I cannot wait to see what happens to it.
Yeah, I'll let you lead this one, although God damn, it's down to 5.
5.5 on the contest.
Ugh.
That is accurate. We are talking the game of the week, the marquee matchup, Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys here. And we all know the storyline going into this. Oklahoma quarterback, she can't trust him. Jalen Hurts, separated shoulder, whatever it is, sprained shoulder, out this week. We're getting Gardner Minshew, and everyone knows how I cap. I'm a psychological dark arts capper. Gardner Minshew starts this week, coming off of speaking at the funeral of his fallen coach, Mike Leach. Very interesting notes there. Very interesting note there. I'm just going to put that out there. And the Cowboys, we all remember that first matchup against each other. Backup Cooper Rush was in there. They hang tough. They lose the game. Did they lose the game? I already forgot what happened, but they lose the game. And then Cooper Rush, goes back into the shadows while Dak Prescott comes back. And we remember what happened to the Cowboys last week. They fucking fumbled the bag against Trevor Lawrence and Dak Prescott. Good pass, I guess, but gets intercepted, taking it back to the house. I'm one of those guys that I've stopped believing in Dak Prescott. I don't think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. You line up, we've had this discussion a lot here in Texas. Let me tell you that. Line up Kirk Cousins versus Dak Prescott. Who do you want as your quarterback? I'll take Kirk Cousins. No problem this year. So honestly, give me the Eagles. I think the Eagles could win this game outright. I like Gardner Minshew enough to be a decent quarterback for 1 week. I have a theorem with backup quarterbacks. I think all backup quarterbacks are good for 1 win. 1 win they can get you, and you have to just kind of time it out. Throw the dice whenever you can get it. I think this is the win. I think Nick Sirianni is a good coach, and he's a college coach from the aspect of him being like a motivator. He does all that shit. He prints out shirts like, beat the Cowboys, blah, blah, blah. I think he'll motivate Gardner Minshew and have him ready to go. Eagles win this game outright.
Eagles outright. That's wild. We're all thinking the same thing. Right now, 72% of the tickets are on Philadelphia, but just 50% of the cash. I saw 6s everywhere, and my book was hanging at 5.5. I was like, well, it's going to go back to 6, right? It's now down to 5. I feel I'm very interested in the vote here. If this vote is everybody on Philadelphia, I'm going to probably end up staying off.
And if people are on the Cowboys?
Then I'd like to move on Philadelphia.
There you go.
So I also like the over, and I like the Eagles team total over. I could have got that over 19.5 at minus 120. It's now minus 125.
Wait, the total's 19.5?
The team total is 19.5 for the
Eagles? Wow. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I love dog team totals.
3 touchdowns? Come on.
But I do think that we may have a bias with how bad the Cowboys have looked over the last 2 weeks. I'm certain that we do.
You've talked about how shitty their defense has gotten. It's a point of contention with you right now.
Everybody's talking about it. And so the Cowboys know it's being talked about. I mean, the key here, and we broke down the X's and O's. We don't need to go too deep into the X's and O's here, but when you lose Leighton Vander Esch, you lose the opportunity of Micah Parsons focusing solely on the pass rush. And that's a problem. It's a real problem. So I've been going off about Calvin Joseph not being able to replace Anthony Brown and whatever I take. But Anthony Barr is just kind of, an aging linebacker who can't really do the things that are necessary. He made a ton of problems in the run game. He couldn't handle coverage, which is going to force Micah Parsons to have to do different things. I mean, they're going to come up with a completely different defense than what we saw when Leighton Vander Esch, who leads the Cowboys in tackles, got hurt. I really do like Philly here. This show helps me so much, but this game is going to take a lot more work from me. I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on all of these additions, but I may. I mean, I've only got locked in 2 spots. So, and I'm not tripling up on this. There's no way that I'll be on the over, the Eagles team total over, and the Eagles. I will pick 2 of those 3. 0 chance of me tripling up, and I'm not going to cut the unit size to 150 to triple up. I'm going to pick 2 of these spots, hit it with a unit if I move on it. But I need to see the vote, and I haven't voted, so put the vote up. I'm extremely interested.
I will say this. I just looked at my schedule, and I realized that Christmas is on a Sunday, and I think I get to Vegas early enough on Sunday that I hopefully will be able to bet this game, and I hopefully will be able to bet that Eagles team total.
This is Saturday.
Fuck. All right. Well, never mind. Fuck me then. Fuck you, NFL. Kill me. I wanted to bet that. I would go to Vegas right now and bet that Eagles team total. 60% on the Eagles, by the way. And it seems like that will be enough to make our card just because of how low the other votes are. But damn, I wanted to bet the Eagles on Sunday. That sucks.
If we're all seeing, because we're sort of around dead numbers now. if we're all seeing the same thing, why are the big bets still on the Cowboys? Until that question is answered, I would love to have the chance to be the defensive coordinator for this one for the Cowboys. I'd like to change everything with Van Der Esch being out. And
give me X's and O's.
yeah, I find this game so fascinating. At this point, though, it doesn't make sense. We're all thinking the same thing, that Minshew can take care of business and the Eagles can cover because of how bad the Cowboys have been. So I'm certainly not betting this one after the show.
Will be a lot of fun. Raiders Steelers throwback game.
I moved on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I had a goal. I said when this gets to 2.5, I will move on it with no vig, and I got the 2.5 with no vig, and I moved on the Pittsburgh Steelers with confidence. I'm looking forward to this Saturday night game. 10,544 tickets in. 43% of the tickets on the Pittsburgh Steelers, 64% of the cash. That's a very comfortable cash layout for me. And look, Dennis Garcia moved on the Raiders +3 -115, and that gave me pause, and I just spent more time sitting there thinking about this game, and how there's something that these Steelers do. The reason why they're always 500 or better is because they get better as the season goes on. And that's happening here. I'm not a Pickett guy, but remember, this opened at 2, and it got to 3. The 3 was -108 on Tuesday at noon. And I believe with that early sharp action. So this will definitely be in my cappers contest here. And I don't trust Kenny Pickett, but I trust Tomlin. And I sit back and I say, okay, Josh McDaniels, you take your team in the 12 Fahrenheit, black and yellow, and you come out with a victory. Fuck off. Fucking blow me. That's not happening. So I do love this spot, which, again, I'll mention does not mean I'm going to have a higher ROI on it, but I love this spot. Steelers -2.5 will be in a contest. I bet it, and I love it. Take it away, Jose.
I can already picture it now. I'm just closing my eyes and imagining you with another pissed off Raiders rant if the Steelers don't come through with you. The Raiders have terrified you. They just they've held you over a barrel. They've shaken you down by the ankles all year.
And Birdie says everyone betting the Steelers again. 43% of the tickets are on the Steelers. So I think it's a mistake when we get too caught up with what we hear in our community, because our community is much sharper than the betting public. So, the Francos and then Birdie saying wrong team favored here. I can't wait to see these Raiders play in 12 Fahrenheit temperatures.
That's a good point. I forgot about Franco dying, and it's another angle you guys know I love. That's a good way to get me to bet a team. Tell me that someone of their fame and fortune has died or something. They're retiring a number, except if you're Boston. Boston always lose on those nights. They lose horrible fashion, so don't never bet that. But yeah, no, I think it'll be an interesting game though. The issue is defensively, how healthy are the Steelers right now? Because obviously TJ has been iffy. He's been good, but he's been hurt allegedly this whole time. And ultimately, the Raiders are just a 2-man team with Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. So stop them. You beat the Raiders at the end of the day.
Well, we saw what Tomlin's capable of, the way the Panthers rushed for 21 yards on 16 carries and the different looks that he gave the Panthers.
Yeah, very Naval Academy-esque drive.
I'm excited, Birdie. It's fun. Fun being. I try so because you're on the same side as Dennis Garcia. So Birdie and Garcia on one side, and myself on the other. You should bet on the side that Birdie and Dennis Garcia are on. But I really like the Steelers at home here.
We knew you weren't going to bet the Raiders.
Well, no, but it's this isn't me fading the Raiders as much as the Steelers are getting better. They're getting better as the season goes on. Maybe you could say the Raiders are getting better too as well. That's fine. Let's see them in 12 Fahrenheit temperatures. So
let's see it. And by the way, Raiders super fan Guillermo Gersertucci also saying that the cold weather concerns him. And we could do some clock control there for the Raiders. 4 minutes on the clock. Let's end the poll. We've got 51% on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Very, very fun. That concludes Saturday action. We move on to Sunday here. I'll set the table for you, Jose. Packers, Dolphins. Let's go into the line history here. We have Lamont Williams. Great to see you, my man. We have the Dolphins opening up -5.5. They're now -4. And we know that the Sharps, well, there's implied line value in the Packers, but they become quite a public dog. 64% of the tickets, but 88% of the cash on the Packers. At least we've seen a 1.5 move towards them. Packers are on a short week, but they're playing better. They have to win out. This is a tough place to win, and it's one thing that should help the Packers is it's 57 Fahrenheit. So we're not dealing with a spot where the road team is sitting in the scorching sun while the Dolphins are in the shade. So I would guess that at 57 Fahrenheit that home field advantage drops a little. Take it away, Jose.
Very interesting game. I guess I'm leaning towards Tua and the Dolphins, truthfully. One of my novice capping things is I want to bet on the better quarterback, and it's shocking to say I think Tua is the better quarterback in this matchup compared to what Karen Rodgers has given us this year. So I like the Dolphins at the 3.5. I'll admit it. Home makes me feel a little better. They need all the games. The Jets are at 7-7, and Dolphins, Chargers are both at 8-6 for the playoff hunt. Need all the wins they can get. And obviously we've heard all the scuttlebutt with the Packers, like, oh, if the Packers win out, they'll make the playoffs. The Packers are not a good football team. And shout out to my guy Preston. He said this: if the Packers make the playoffs, he'd make an irresponsibly large bet on the 49ers against them in round 1. And I'd be right there with them. I think the 49ers would dog them. But yeah, I think it's Miami. It's a Miami spot here for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the books are concerned with the money on the Packers moving at 5.5 to 4. So, this one kind of reeks. This whole Sunday Christmas card makes me want to bet basketball. So, this is the most interesting of the games.
That's not good. Like I said, I get to Vegas on Christmas Day, so I'd love for there be something to bet, and everyone knows my dislike of basketball, especially because the Celtics are going to lose on that day as well. But it's going to be a good game. I think this one for sure will be a good game. And truthfully, I am surprised there is that much love for the Packers. I will admit they beat the Rams, and now we're like, oh, Packers are back. One of the worst teams in football. They beat them 25-12, I think. The Rams defense isn't any good anymore. They don't have anyone out there anymore. Donald's not back there. Jalen Ramsey's fine, but the Packers should put them up more points, and defense did fine enough against shitty-ass Baker Mayfield. So I really like the Dolphins here the more we talk about it, truthfully. Obviously, it'll be a little nippy for those Florida guys, but compared to what they did last week, I think they'll be all right.
I'm excited. I'm excited about the Packers-Dolphins game. It's the only one I am on Christmas Day, so this one pops off.
Hopefully, I'll check my plane ticket. Hopefully, I'll get in time to make some Dolphins bets on Sunday morning. It's going to be a lot of fun. And by the way, Jim, on top of that, we're also going to have the Miami Dolphins on our Cappers contest card. 75% on the Miami Dolphins.
Wow. There's 0% chance that I will be on the Dolphins again. We've seen this move enormously towards the Packers, and we see the big bets on them. And now you can call them a public dog. Sure. Birdie, the Raiders get bet heavy. So we'll see what the numbers look on Saturday. But even you calling them a public dog now there's no numbers to prove that. You can't just say, oh, I see on Twitter everybody on the Steelers. The numbers that we have to prove these things are here, and it says 43%. So we'll see. It's fun. This is part of the fun. And look, I don't like going up against you in DG. All right, let's move on to Broncos, Rams. Broncos coming off a 24-15 home win over the Cardinals. Rippon was fine. Russell Wilson is back. He's cleared concussion protocol. The Rams are on a short week, and they looked so bad. 156 total yards against the Packers. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have this opening up with the Broncos -1. They're now -2.5. They're -3, really. That 2.5 is -118. We go over to the cash flow here. We have 57% of the tickets and 74% of the cash on the Broncos. I guess this all makes sense. I mean, I don't like we would prefer to get the 2.5 than the 3, but I guess it all makes sense. This Rams team is just, McVay's trying, and some of the players are trying, but you can only really deliver what your roster is capable of. And this roster is banged up and looks awful. Offensively, defensively, they're still trying. They're still good in the red zone. And maybe this under, even with Russell Wilson back, should be in, but it's gone from 35.5 to 36.5. I don't like going up against that. You have a feel here, Jose?
None at all. Easy pass game for me. But I will say, I mean, this one of my Bouquet laws of gambling. Where did that quarterback go to college? Oklahoma. Okay, that makes sense. Baker Mayfield, my least favorite, amongst my least favorite human beings. Evan Longoria, still up there as well. Fuck you, Evan Longoria. I just can't get there with the Rams. It's definitely Broncos or nothing for me. Definitely going to be, well, I would say there's definitely going to be Broncos fans at this game, but why would Broncos fans want to go to this game? There's going to be no one at this game. There's LA. You said this is on Christmas too, so this is gross. Under would be the only thing I'd lean towards, but like you mentioned, that line movement is kind of worrisome. So an easy pass game, but Cortland Sutton, I guess, comes back. So Sutton and Judy back makes you feel better about the Broncos. Latavius Murray scores. Okay. And best half of football they played was that one half before Russell Wilson got knocked the fuck out. So will they pick that back up? I kind of have my doubts, I'll be honest. But I'm absolutely not betting on Baker Mayfield, and the coaching disparity as well definitely is concerning as well.
I think that maybe the ugliness of this game is stopping us from making money off of it. You get Sutton back, you get Russell Wilson back. He got to watch last week. I think that helps. Rippon looked pretty good. Jerry Jeudy looked good. Latavius Murray looked great. The defense is strong. I know that the Rams have a strong defense too, but I'm starting to feel like we might be leaving money on the table. I mean, the reason why I say this is because Russell Wilson's being a complete embarrassment. He needs to finish this season with something to build off of. I'm starting to think that I should add the Broncos to my action here.
Definitely Broncos or pass here. I mean, obviously, home field advantage is not going to mean a fucking thing either.
I'm starting to think that this is so important for Russell Wilson to finish off with something. I think that I'm going to end up on the Broncos now. I mean, this is going to take a little bit more time, but I feel like sometimes that the bum fights were like, oh, let's just let it go. I mean, I used to do that for preseason football, exhibition football, and then I went 12-2 this year. And I was like, why am I not focusing so hard on who's in and who's out and who's going to be starting quarterback? Why am I not sitting there for hours working on it? Because there's angles that we can take advantage of, and sometimes we leave those in the bum fights. So Dave Beckett says over game if I ever saw one. I'm going to really. I do not believe in Baker Mayfield. I'm right with you. I do not believe in Baker Mayfield at all, and I think the Broncos are the bet here because who needs to succeed here, and Russell Wilson needs to succeed here.
Man,
Ron Crawford saying Rams play though.
I might be one of the few people that goes to Vegas to bet the Denver Broncos. So we'll see. It'll be a fun game to watch for sure. I mean, obviously gonna do it, so it'll be a fun time. 4 minutes are up. 40% on Broncos -3 there.
Yeah, and Birdie saying, how are the Broncos not 6.9-point faves versus a four-stringer with that defense? Broncos are really nice. I think so, too. I'm surprised this didn't reveal itself on Gridiron Gamblers. But now this is why the show is so important. It's been so helpful for me. And I knew, like, when I was coming on vacation, I was like, well, I got to do the Thursday show too, because it helps me win money. And now it's just become absolutely clear to me that I'm going to bet that. All right, let's move on to Buccaneers, Cardinals. One thing that was wild in the breakdown on Tuesday night was the Buccaneers moved to 6.5 full game. I could have got them first half -3 at even money. I had some family things I had to do after the show, and by the time I got to the action, it was -3.5 at -105. That was a mistake, I think, that Bet365 did, but I felt like it was so perfect that it was almost trappy, and I was hesitant to move on it. And now I know that I should have bet it immediately, and there's nothing really I can do about it. Let's take a look at the line history here. Buccaneers opened -4. They're now -7.5. I don't know who in their right mind would want the Bucs at that number. I thought the defense looked driven by J.J. Watt in that loss to the Broncos. I mean, God, it's 7 sacks they put up, and J.J. got 3 of them. But McCoy with the concussion is a big issue. But who in their right mind wants – because if you're the Buccaneers, you don't bring Vita Vea back for this. You can win this without Vita Vea. You leave Vita Vea to get healthy. And so, I mean, is this a spot where the Buccaneers just squeak this one out? Let's just take a look at the cash flow here. You have 65% of tickets, 89% of cash on the Buccaneers going up against Trace McSorley. Merry Christmas, Nuke Worker. Much love, man. Thank you for always supporting us. I hope you have just a great, great Christmas with the fam, and know you're loved here by us, my man. Take it away here, Jose. Buccaneers, Cardinals.
Another easy pass game. I feel the same exact way you do. I'm not betting zombie Tom Brady, as like Bill Simmons would say, on against the Cardinals, which admittedly shitty defense, whatever. But Trace McSorley, just gross. All easy pass. Todd Bowles not a good. Todd Bowles versus Cliff Kingsbury, 2 guys that one I wanted as a Jets head coach, and the other that was. So it's just why you put this game on Sunday? Is Sunday night Christmas? Like, this is so gross. This smells this, like you said, Jimmy, at the beginning of this game screams bet the NBA. And I ultimately don't want anything to do with this game. Trace McSorley has been horrible. Just absolutely like dog shit. I just can't get any read off of him. So no thanks. And in the Bucs too, just no thanks.
Yeah, this is a pretty ugly game. I can't build up a case for really either side. But, I should have moved on that -3 first half with no Vig. I blame my family for that one.
Yeah, fucking Ella. All right, 3 minutes are up. Let's move on from that game because that game is horrific. 43% on Tampa Bay there. And let's move on to our final game and a moment where we can just kind of point and laugh at Jeff Saturday, huh? Point and laugh. Just the fuck you doing, my man? What the fuck you doing? I will say this, Jeff Saturday, I'm pissed off at Jeff Saturday just because he set back like guys off the street coaching a football team. Like if Jeff Saturday would have done well, Jimmy, I was one more degree of separation away from coaching the New York Jets. So I'm pretty pissed off that he did this to us. Obviously, the number one big factor in all this, no more Matty Ice. Appreciate the career. Tip my hat to thee. 2 of the biggest comebacks in the sports history. Whatever, it's fine. I still love you, Matt Ryan. But now we've got Big Dick Nick Foles back in our lives versus the Chargers. And I hope the Chargers beat the dog shit out of them. And I want Austin Eckler to score all of the touchdowns. Please and thanks.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that Nick Foles is going to be able to move the offense at all. So, I mean, how is he going to be able to? I mean, people have been choosing not to use him at all when what are your expectations on Big Dick Nick here? Because I feel like the Chargers first half -3 might be a gift. The problem is that the Colts defense at times can be good. There were clear mistakes that cost the Vikings in the first half of that game, and it was, when Jefferson went out and Jalen Reagor came in, the Reagor was just looked like he'd never read the playbook, and he was awful. He was just, we're not on the same page as Kirk Cousins, but what do you give me your expectation of Big Dick Nick? Because I just don't. Is there a world where he succeeds here? In the chat, I'd love to hear as well. So, but let me hear it from you, Nick. Jose, what are your expectations of Nick?
I expect him to have a better second half. I think that first half is definitely going to be shake off the rust kind of thing. So I do like Chargers first half more than anything. 4.5 is an awkward number. And truthfully, I lean towards the Chargers just because I just don't think that Jeff Saturday, hot take, everyone. Jeff Saturday, not a head football coach, not a guy I want leading my team. Nick Foles, not a guy I want leading my team as well. They've got an offensive coordinator that who the fuck knows. So I'm on the Chargers here, and they've gotten hot. And Brandon Staley, to a lot of Chargers fans' chagrin, has saved his job most likely. I just think that Herbert's just going to be good enough. He's got his guys back. Please throw the ball to Austin Eckler. If you're going to throw the ball, a lot of Austin Eckler, please, dear God.
Yeah. God, the Chargers have not done anything to, bring any confidence to their action. I mean, they look at how Tannehill could barely move, and they win 17-14. I mean, I guess I don't want the Chargers here. I guess when it comes down to it, why would I want the Chargers on the road? But they are 4-3 on the road. They've been better on the road than they are at home. But
they don't have a home field advantage, so it doesn't matter if they're home and away, really.
I would prefer them at home, even if they don't have because the Colts are still selling out every week. I don't know if they do here on December 26th, but I don't know. I guess this game, I'm very interested to see what the voting is, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Brady says I got Chargers -3, won't be adding Chargers -4.5. Says 4 is semi-key.
I will be hopefully betting Chargers first half in Vegas, and I will hopefully be betting some Austin Eckler touchdown props for my safety and well-being. I cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. And guess what, Jim? Last little slip in, the Los Angeles Chargers, 68%.
That makes me nervous. 64% of the tickets, 63% of cash on the Chargers. At least the market's moving towards the Chargers. It makes me nervous. I'm not sure if Chargers make my card. The fact that we all think that they're going to smash the Colts, what have the Chargers really done of late to give us? I mean, their defense has, but their offense just not putting up points. So I don't know. That's going to need more time for me to think about. All right. We're getting all of our votes tallied. Our top 7 is what I'd like to write down. Jose, my man. So while you're putting that together, next week we've moved our Cappers Contest show to Friday. Jose is getting back from Vegas on Thursday night, and it's just a tough show to do. I prefer to do it with Jose. So we'll do it Friday after betting with the bag. That will be the plan for next week. I'll be back in Toronto. So I'll be back. So betting with the bag, the first betting with the bag back is a week today. It's Thursday the 29th. NFL Pub Hub on January 1st will be on. I'm not sure if we'll get enough people. It's New Year's Day, and I can understand people not wanting to do the show. So I'll see how many people we can get to do the show, but I will definitely be hosting it. And yeah, are you close, Jose, my man? Oh, you're muted, my guy.
I had a good joke there, unfortunately. I had a good joke there. It was a swing and a miss. Yes. What's funny about this week is that the top 5, very easy to do here. It's a clear denomination of what plays the people liked this week. So we'll start from the bottom up because obviously that gets middled. A bunch of 50 to 51%. there. Jacksonville and Pittsburgh at 51% respectively.
Are we at 5th or 7th?
7th.
Okay. So that was who?
Pittsburgh and Jacksonville are tied, I guess, 6, 7, whichever order you want to put them in at 51%.
Okay. 51%.
And our just missing out, which really didn't just miss out, Cincinnati, 52%.
I thought, because Pitt and Jacksonville were 7th at 51%.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Okay, well, I was wrong about Cincinnati. Interesting. Okay, just failed to make the cut. So Cincinnati was what?
52%.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now let's do top 5.
The top 5, the Philadelphia Eagles, 60% plus 5.5 there. The aforementioned Los Angeles Chargers, 4.5 there at 68%. By the way, that Philadelphia pick, our only underdog of the week. Our Detroit Lions, we love the Detroit Lions, -2.5, 69%. And our top 2, both at 75%, the Miami Dolphins, -3.5, and your Tennessee Titans at -3.5.
Dolphins 3.5, and the Titans were the same 75%.
Yep. Yes.
All right. That is locked and loaded. Don't forget, we got big shows coming up today. We have NFL Pub Hub that pops off in 23 minutes, 4 p.m. Eastern. We have NCAA.
No.
Net profits. NCAA net profits. I was thinking hitting the book. Net profits at 5 p.m. And then CMAC hosting the Thursday nighter, which is going to be an awesome game. I think Jags.
It's going to be a good game. I'm going to be hanging on by my seat of my pants. I would be joining Connor Mack if I wasn't giving Helga her Christmas gift tonight. So sorry, Connor Mack. Maybe I'll join in late when the Jets are up by $1 billion, and we'll see. But shout out to Helga as well. It's going to be fun. Cooking class is what I went with. We're taking a cooking class together, Jimmy. So that should be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, I know you would be into that stuff. I knew that would elicit your response there. But yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And we have a loaded betting with Bouquet tomorrow. Fucking 13 NHL games with Big Bobano. We've got NBA with Dutch. I'm going to bring on Cap for college basketball. On top of that, we have the Sesh Christmas special as well. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. You're on, and I saw this, Jimmy. I saw this visually confirmed. You're on the Christmas poster, so you kind of have to be on the show is what I've heard. But I'll be on the show. It'll be a whole lot of fun. Some special things we'll be doing for Christmas. I have to be filming. I have to film something today for the show, so get your hopes and excitement up for that. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, and we really want to wish you all happy holidays. However you celebrate it, do it up. Enjoy the time with the family. And we have a huge 2023 at Pop Sports Radio, and we're really excited about all the things that we're going to do. And we're going to have meetups, and we're just I just feel like everything's moving in the right direction, and really thankful to be a part of this company and to have you guys supporting us. So thank you guys. Have a huge happy holidays. You as well, Jose. I'll be thinking about you heading to Vegas on Christmas Day with Helga. That'll be a lot of fun.
I'm going to be bothering you asking for hockey picks and shit. By the way, very disappointed. Bad job by the NHL for not having any Christmas games, especially no games in Vegas while I'm there. Bad job by you, NHL. Bad
that would
job
have been
by
so
you.
much fun to get a game in Vegas.
Yeah, I've never been to an NHL game still. But February, Valentine's Day, I'll be spending it with one Dabby Cab. Valentine's Day, just snuggled up with Cab on a lovely Dallas Stars Boston Bruins game.
Oh, that'll be awesome. What a game that'll be. AOD, Big Daddy Boom, Smoke and Mirrors, Ron Crawford, Birdie, Aaron Gaza.
Oh, Jimmy, one last announcement. And I'm going to put public pressure on myself.
Sure.
The Betting with the Bag, Low Shack in the Bag, end of year montage will be out this weekend. This weekend, before I go to Vegas, I will finish that montage. So before Christmas, and it will probably debut on Christmas. That will probably be what I do. The end of year montage, some good moments on there. Jimmy resting his nutsack on people's noses. Pete singing. Daryl's I don't give a fucking shit. A whole lot of stuff going to be in there. Some Pubapalooza clips. Don't forget, Pubapalooza was this year, guys. The polluted pussy was real then, guys. Let me tell you guys that. This pussy was so polluted, as you say. But it'll be a whole lot of fun. So public pressure, that will be done this weekend as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Going Dave Beckett, Fantasy Freak. Thank you guys so much for supporting here and helping us with the show. Nuke Worker, Joe Ortner, Billy Friedrich, Beely. Thank you guys. DC Capper, Gerald Jones, Nasty Nate. I'm ready to make some Guillermo Zertucci, Lamont Williams. I'm ready to make moves here. I know what I'm adding here. I'm gonna make some bets here right now.
I'm ready to put some sustenance in my food pussy.
Oh, nice. Oh, that'll be good. Extra mayonnaise. Thank you guys. Let's get that cash. Thank you, Joe. And I'm getting more and more refreshed here. And but next Tuesday's Gridiron Gamblers will be my last show here, of course. And we fly back on Wednesday, and we're back in action, back to the regular scheduled programming starting Thursday. So I won't see you guys now for a few days over the holidays. But man, I'll be thinking about us making that money. Ron Crawford says Kraken tonight. I haven't even looked. I've looked at the NHL.
Oh, you want some NHL plays, Jimmy? Oh, I'll give you the NHL plays, Jimmy. We're on it today. I fucking beat it up today, Jimmy. I took that fucking NHL card. I smacked it around. I learned about my man Ilya Samsonov, and I also said I learned this, Jimmy. There's certain buttons you need to press to really just fire people up. Patrick Waugh, the most overrated goalie of all fucking time. My man, Vasilevsky, so much better than him. But we're on the Islanders tonight. The first period under, the over in Washington, Ottawa. We're also in the over in Seattle, Vancouver. Need fucking Spencer Martin, a.k.a. Martin Jones, as I called him today, to fucking fold one up. That would be great. And we're also on a Leafs money line. And by the way, I saw the Leafs were down, so that's not good. A Kraken first period over parlay.
Well, I will be following closely that Knuckleheads game as well. So, are you going to be on the Thursday nighter with the boys?
That depends on how long the Christmas gift with Helga lasts. Obviously I'm a 2-pump chump, but we'll see how all that goes.
All right. Well, God bless you. God bless you. Thank you guys so much for supporting us here. Let's go out there and have a giant Week 16. Let's go out there and get the fucking cash.